Programming I'm chasing.
I'm Captain America.
And along with me is Bill Grundler.
Wolverine.
We're going to analyze the programming of the age group semifinals, or the age group in affiliate semifinals. The 2025 CrossFit Games age group in affiliate.
The longest titled event ever. That should have been like event number 6. Who could say that title the fastest?
The fastest, maybe 5 times.
5 times straight without messing up.
5 times straight.
Have it videoed. Dude.
It is a busy time on YouTube right now.
Oh my gosh.
Have to take this shit over though.
Man, I have to say, of the whole experience, one of the things I'm most happy about is that CrossFit made everyone put everything up. Like every video is up. That being said, I wish they would have done that with athletes that generally move better overall than put it to masters that are used to not being told that they need to straighten their arms out all the way and do all the things. Like I just am, what I'm nervous about is that there are going to be a lot of, I mean, I like the fact they put all the penalties in there. They already listed them in there. Like if a burpee penalty is this, if you weren't facing to start the right way, it was this. So they gave seconds on that, which is great. But I just really
penalty, like, okay, well, if I do this, I lose 20 seconds, but
I know. I just think that I wish they would have kind of given it to people that are a little bit more used to having their videos looked at in rather than I mean, like I know master. I mean, geez, oh man, dude, you put. And I'll say this with my own age group because I'm this age. I can do this stuff, but still, like you put a 55-year-old and say, hey, you need to upload this video and you need to make sure that you have this video and that video and this video and that thing set up and this setup and that setup. Yeah. And we had a guy, one of our members, he was in the 60 to 65 group, and to get it actually set up for a 10-minute workout, there was 20 minutes of video before that to get the taping and bringing the camera down, and we're having to make sure, and you got the clock and the thing, you got to move the clock. There was so much stuff like that. It was like, wow. Anyway, but I'm really glad they did that. I just hope that they hold a standard with it. You cannot put that on people and then not nail people if they aren't doing what they need to be doing. And I mean everything. Like they cannot. I hope they are not nice. I hope
it shouldn't be nice. This isn't like
I know. I mean, the thing is, like, if they don't do it, if they set out, this is like classic parenting 101. If you set here is what I expect. If you do it, if you do this, you'll be good. If you do this, you'll be punished. Yeah. And if they do this, and you're supposed to punish them, and you don't, then your shit goes out the window.
Oh yeah.
So I'm really
inch take a mile. The Pandora's box. There's that's funny. The funny thing about that, with all the extra technical things you were saying about, what is the one thing masters athletes notoriously do wrong when they shoot their workouts? You don't tilt the camera. Right? I mean, remember when we programmed for that Masters competition? We had to judge all the videos and just look at them sideways.
I turned my computer up the other way.
I got to lock my phone screen and then turn my phone so I can watch your video, let alone upload them all to YouTube.
Right.
Music in there.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, maybe that is event 6. Did you upload all your videos appropriately?
Well, like, and then I'm really curious about the like YouTube striking any of the things, because if you have music playing or anything like that, and then it's like, well, and we were even thinking about, it's like, okay, well, do we mute it ahead of time?
Oh yeah, right.
Then how are we supposed to say? I mean, I know you can write the stuff down, but then why not just write the stuff down? Like, I don't want you to say anything.
Yeah.
And then it's
just hold it up like a script.
Exactly. Yeah.
Bill Grundler,
name, the password, all the things.
That's funny.
So I don't know. I feel that I love that they did it. I just think that it will be a big undertaking, and it's one of those things where, like, you can't just set the responsibility just to the public. Like I hope that they still look and do what they need to do. It's like one more year of that, then,
Yeah.
Well,
it's like what David says here. He's like, I think it's a step in the right direction, but the process definitely needs to be redefined or refined. Yes, it is a great step in the right direction. They're not going to nail it 100% on the first try. I would say they're almost overdoing it, especially on some of the judging requirements and the head judge thing and the level 1 deal.
Totally.
Which whatever, right? Kind of like you said, it's like being a parent or being a coach or being whatever. Like you can't get more strict and think it's going to work, right? Like if you're the fun, cool dad, and then in high school, your asshole son is just like running amok, and then you're like, time to get serious. It's been 15 years of the easy way. No. This might be to my son's detriment. Who knows if I'm creating accomplice later down the road? Maybe. But I am very strict with the rules of the house, the things that I expect from him. And if he doesn't do any of those things, there's either consequences depending on the level of behavior or screw up, or we have a conversation about it. And that was my life growing up. And then what was cool for me was as I matured, some would argue I haven't, as I aged and when I went from middle school to high school, my relationship with my dad changed. And as I went from high school to college, and he would start to open up a little bit more or bring me into more of like my dad. Like I didn't know my dad was a real human being probably until I was in college and started to have a beer.
That's totally.
My dad would like tell you, he's like, have you ever been in a fight? I was like, have I ever been in a fight? I was like, I mean, I wouldn't say a real fight. Like anything prior to high school doesn't count as real fighting.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I guess that doesn't count. Have you?
In the mouth right there.
Yeah. And he goes, I was like, have you? He goes, oh yeah. You just get in fights all the time. I was like, what? And then you start to see these things, and he would tell like these. I mean, just like we got to be like dudes for a little bit.
Yeah,
I could have beer with my dad. So,
but it's important though. Like the limitations, whatever the limitations are. The more strict they are, doesn't mean that it's bad. It's like now you know exactly how you're supposed to do it.
Right.
You know that you're penal. I mean, my dad was the same way. Like we played hard, but I knew we played hard, but like, and he was a very loving guy, but like you knew exactly when you crossed the line, and the line was drawn before. Like you had sat at the line and be like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And then you do it, and you're like, motherfucker. And it's like, well, okay, got to bring the belt out. Like, oh, crap! I knew it.
Yeah, I did. Like he brought it out. Is like
you're lucky. Well, I'm a little older than you, Chase.
But he would just drop it and use his hands. I'm like, damn, maybe I want help.
I don't know. My dad had the 2-inch like leather.
Well, you had the wrestler dad, and I had the freaking football dad. And, like, there's no point in time where I could have like I had friends who could beat up their dads in high school, and I was like, what is that world like?
I don't even know. I think I'm glad I had that tough, because then you again, you know what's right and wrong. You know what I mean? It's you just know what's right and wrong.
Yeah.
And you understand consequence, and you talking to this judging thing, it's the same thing. You set this stuff out, like the plan that was set, cool. But please follow and be stringent on it, because I mean, we've talked about that. You have to have 1 year where you're just a dick.
Yeah.
And you got to just burn everybody down so that they know. Otherwise, it's like, oh, they're not going to care.
And when is the last time you've even done that? CrossFit. Chase doesn't have a real fight vibe. That's good. I'm sure that's what comes across on a podcast channel. But Bill and I have been in situations where, if need be.
If need be.
If need be. This one's funny. Sean, people keep commenting about this. So I was on Savant's podcast, I think twice this weekend. Yeah. And one of the times, I guess Taylor had called in on his phone. because he was doing post interviews and he handed it to Dave Castro.
Oh shit.
And Dave's like, hey, and then he goes, is that Chase? And I was like, shit. Are you even allowed to be here? I was like, I don't know. But I made a joke about it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, no touching the other day, get with the programming. I'm not banned from Savant's podcast. It was just a joke. Sort of. Okay. Let's get into it. Bill, I do want to share something with you. I did Hollyman today.
Oh, yes.
First time.
It's one of my favorite ones of all time.
First time. If you guys don't know what Hollyman is, it's 5 wall ball shots, 3 handstand push-ups, 1 power clean at 225 and 155 for 30 rounds.
So good.
And it was so bad. It was so bad.
How long did it take you?
I finished the workout. I'll say that. I did it all prescribed. Okay, so some back context is squatting has not really been in my routine for a while. We've talked about that a lot on the show.
Yeah.
And then Friday, I was like, hey, let's just do a heavy single power clean. And in my head, I was like, I think I can do 275. The most I've cleaned is 245. 2 or 3 times in the last 2 years. Okay. Just haven't done it. Yeah. Been a while. I tried to do a heavy single on Friday. And I was like, I think I could do that. I failed 245.
Oh, dang.
Halfway up, I go, that ain't happening. Because 235, I broke my elbows or wrists. It was ugly. And so now I'm going to Hollyman. And when I programmed it, I was like, I think I can do this. It's time. It's about time I've done it. I'm surprised I haven't done it. And warming up for it, I was like, I should not be doing this.
Oh, dude. Wow. Seriously?
I know. I don't know. It got in my head. And so 3 rounds in, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I wanted to quit right away. And then on the 13th round, I failed the power clean. And I had to sit there and adjust my attitude, my emotions, all in one. And I was like, all right, don't quit. I know I've only quit one workout, and that was JT. And that was like, I don't know, 12 years ago. It still bothers me that I quit it, but I was failing. I was doing strict handstand push-ups, and they just weren't happening anymore. And we're like 27 minutes into what is like a 5-minute workout.
Right.
I was like, all right, live to fight another day. And I didn't quit. I kept going. My back got so tight. My power cleans. It felt like a car wreck every time I was doing it. Or like a max. It was rough, but I finished it. It took me 38 minutes.
Wow.
I just I'm like sitting there looking at the bar, and I'm like stretching out my back, and I'm just in the gym. I'm like, all right, I'm not quitting. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this anymore. But I kept going, and I'm proud of myself for not quitting.
No, 100%. 100%. Like that, and I think honestly, what's harder is that you aren't far enough removed from knowing what you could really do on that workout. Yeah. That's I think the part that's really hard. Mm-hmm. And I get you. I feel you.
Oh, yeah, 20 minutes went by, and I go, man, I could have been done with this if I was just who I used to be. Instead, I'm at like 17 rounds. I got so much more to go.
It is one of those ones. Thanks, Eaton.
Oh, Eaton, thank you so much.
It is one of those ones. I think the number, it messes with your head because you're at like 17 or something like that, and you're like 17.
Yeah.
This is really
failing a rep before I got to halfway. I was like, God dang it.
Yeah.
It was a battle.
But I do. okay, when you get the chance, you'd come back to that because it is actually really fun.
And that was one of the things where I was getting frustrated because, like, I know if I was in better shape, and I know I can get in better shape, and I know I will be in better shape, I would have so much fun doing this.
Oh, dude, it's the best.
But I was having zero fun, and it happened in the third round. I was like, I'm done. I'm done. But I didn't quit, and I'm super proud of myself. So
good.
And happy I did it. All right. This is when everybody's like, all right, now do Kalsu. No, screw you guys. That window's closed. I'm just kidding. Maybe one day. All right, let's get into it. Event number 1. Oh, I guess it's called a workout. As many rounds as possible in 10 minutes. 1 clean at 185 and 125, I think was the weights for the women. For the younger divisions. We're just going to go to the basic divisions to start. And then 1 bar muscle up to 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Short time domain, so anything for us 10 minutes or less, we define that as short, at least on this show. The volume 110, so like 10 plus rounds were your top dogs, which is nuts.
Dude, that's crazy.
55 reps, and it's different. Like if it was a 10 to 1, you're like, okay, not a 1 to 10. Right? So 55 bar muscles, 55 power cleans plus is what our best scores were. I put that as moderate reps because is 110 reps a lot of work? Depends. Is it a lot of power cleans at 185 and bar muscle ups? Yeah, that's a moderate rep.
Dude,
So
when are you gonna do 55 bar muscle ups?
No.
Like that is a high volume for bar muscle ups.
Right. Especially and it's high volume, high fatigue, again, because it's going in ascending reps.
Yeah.
So weight being moderate. The scheme is a couplet, just back and forth. Modality, weightlifting and gymnastics. Now, the movement patterns and the general physical skills, I would say the main ones, right? You can say, oh, well, if you're breathing hard, it's cardiorespiratory endurance. No. Like, all right, that's like a small. We're looking at the majors. Stamina, strength, obviously. Speed, power with the clean itself being a powered position. You need that power, as well as speed and coordination on the bar muscle up. Right? If you're slow, you're uncoordinated, it's a tricky move to do. Hinge pull on the power clean. If it's an italicized, we just look at that as a secondary element, right? Hinge being the main factor, the pull through the middle for the clean being the secondary one. On the bar muscle up, you do have flexion. We always look at bar muscle up as the cousin to the toes to bar, less of the chest to bar. And then obviously the pull being the major one and the press out at the top, which is funny. Did you see the other day Taylor was talking about bar muscle ups being more of a press for him?
Really?
Yeah. That his shoulders and press would get more fatigued. I was like, yeah, probably if you're doing 15 or 16 at a time.
True.
But I guess he's so good at getting over the bar that's not the big fatigue element for him.
Like I will do, you know what? I guess I could see that because when I do my bar muscle up, the way I kind of take a tiny break in the action is I don't want to kip up to where I'm barely coming out of the, where it's like you're supposed to go through a dip.
Yeah, like if you land
almost straight arm. I almost do like a push up. Like I want to be able to come on the bar and do a push up. Yeah. So like it's I want that push rather than having to. I mean, like I'm good at bar muscles, but like you get up over a certain number, and it's like I can't pop my hips to get me up there anymore. Yeah. But I can see that.
Yeah, but it's funny to see what gets affected more for other people.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
All right. Now, equipment, this is just kind of the fun as we go. This will change, seeing at what we used after 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 events. We used a rig and a barbell, weightlifting patterns, a hinge and a pull, seeing as how we only had one movement. Gymnastic patterns, obviously, we said there's variants of what is getting taxed, but all these are in play. 1 gymnastics, 1 weightlifting, short time domain, no monostructural yet. Bill, you tested this.
No, I did it the right way.
With the version we'll touch on this at the end.
I'm such a dude. I'm such a dick. I'm just a dick sometimes.
That's not necessary. Okay, we'll explain the right way of why we're saying that, because we'll do a little bit of a reprogramming.
Yeah.
Or do you want to do a whole show? Because I mean,
I don't think we need to do a whole show for that, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we'll touch on it at the end.
But I did. I love the setup of it though. Like the design of it was great.
Yes, I really, really enjoyed the way this was programmed. Thoroughly enjoyed it, especially in an online competition. In the freedom for online competition that I feel like gets overlooked almost as much as maybe in-person competition is that in-person competition, you have to account for the entertainment element for the viewer.
Totally.
And the person, the people that are there. Because if nobody shows up to watch your event is dead. And if nobody wants to get online and watch your event is dead.
Yeah, you don't have to have
everything static. Things need to move back and play. Like there has to be an element of,
it doesn't matter what it looks like,
appealing to watch, right? How do we make working out look appealing?
Yeah.
The benefit on online competition is it doesn't matter.
Nope.
Nobody has to advance a bar. You could just sit on a rower for 75. Oh, look, we sit on 75 cows 3 times in a row. So I think that's a more freedom to play with a little bit. It's like, oh, this is so boring to watch. It's like, well, it doesn't need to be boring to watch. Like, it doesn't matter. You're just doing it. It could be a great test. All right, workout number 2. 60 or 75 cal row, 21 shoulder overhead with weight 1, 60, 75, 15, 60, 75, 9. Was it 135, 85, 185, 125 again, 225? Did they put 155? I think they did.
So, yeah.
20-minute cap, which not many people needed unless they couldn't lift the last bar, which was really, at the end of the day, kind of the whole workout.
Yeah.
Moderate time frame, 12 to 14 minutes. Classic CrossFit time frame. High volume of row cals. 45 combined shoulder overhead. Partitioned through light, moderate, and heavy barbells. Then it's just a couplet between the row and the shoulder overhead. Like the push, the movement combo. Again, I really like the movement combo. You're getting a monostructural element with a ascending weight, heavy barbell movement. You have monostructural weightlifting, as you just said. That said, if you could handle the last bar, it totally changed the way you did this workout. And 100%. If you couldn't handle the bar, then it didn't matter what you did in the workout.
Well, see, and that's what was okay. As programmers, we're always thinking about what I want these pieces to look like in the. Like we have a crux that we're designing. Like we're looking at like, what am I trying to see what you can do here?
Right.
Not just what is hard. Like that is not how people that's not how good programmers are going to program, especially if you're using this as a qualifier to move to the next stage. Like what is the purpose of these movements in these weights? Especially when we just did a rowing event in the open to get here. Like it really, if it all comes down to the last bar, like I kind of just want to go, all right, let's see what your shoulder to overhead, for 30 is. And then like you'll probably get about the same, because you're not going to have someone that's a really good rower that can't lift and is going to be advanced super far.
Right.
And I mean, like it'll come down to that. So it's like, why did we need to have the rowing? Were you just trying to you are pre-fatiguing, okay, and then doing that? Like, if you want that, to me, you could have done the exact same thing with, all right, you have a buy-in and whatever, make it even a time, like a tiebreaker for 75 calories on the row if you need to have the row in there for some reason,
right?
And then 30 shoulder to overhead at 220 at the top weight.
Yeah,
you would have gotten the exact same thing.
Yes, because just as you said, is that you could be the best rower in the world, and if you can't lift 225, you don't finish this workout. And you could be the, I don't want to say I guess the fair extreme would be like, oh, well, I suck at rowing, but I'm super strong, so I will finish this.
Right. So I mean, it's like, what were you trying to do out of this? I wish that the other weights would have mattered more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I was saying, like, my original, okay, if we're keeping if you want a long event,
right,
keep the calories where they are, fine. But I would have said keep the reps of the weights exactly the same. 21, 21, 21.
Do you know what this is from?
I can't see it here.
You blow it up there, old man.
Sorry. I will.
Does this workout format look familiar?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, this was the semifinals last year.
Yep.
So we just did the same exact workout.
Exactly. And then look what they did.
Actually better because there's less cows.
Right. I mean, like, come on. So it all comes down like 20. There's no reason that 9, 6, and 3 should take 20 minutes, but it does when you cannot do the weight.
Now, with one thing is like when we're trying to find the top 40 to 50, all of those athletes can do all of this, and now it's a race between them. But it's just a row heavy thing, and even that, right? Unless you can do the 9 shouldered overhead unbroken, you can't make up time really on the row.
No.
Nor really should you, because it's going to make you even worse. Like 225, like if I'm doing sets of 3, I'm not resting only 30 seconds between those 2 breaks.
Yeah.
So where do I make that? Am I going to make up a minute of time on rowing to offset that?
No.
Should I make? And so again, we'll come back to this.
So let me give 2 examples of exactly what you're talking about. My brother did this. My brother qualified, actually, by the way. I think it was 14.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, he qualified in the 50.
Pending video review.
Sweet. Well,
unofficially.
I'm just going to go up and throw a thumbs up on all of this things, so it'll be fine.
Yeah. Go in there. It's good. It's good. That ratio.
So he was unbroken on the first weight, unbroken on the second weight, went 7, thought he could probably get the 9 unbroken, dropped it just because he got a little wiggly, and then put the other 2 up.
Okay.
And I think he got done in like 18 something. I have another guy in the same division. He was done with the rowing at like 15:30, 16, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Did 3 on the shouldered overhead, unbroken.
Yep.
Failed 2 and didn't get any more than the 3.
Wow.
So, like, what was the event? The event was purely the lifting.
Which is odd when there's 225 cows of rowing in there.
But the thing is that everyone sees that, and no one's going to go, okay, well, I need to go hard. And when you majority of athletes, they know the pace, and it's really, I mean, we talk about that all the time. Like, okay, so you beat me by 5 seconds on the split time. Okay.
Right.
All right, fine. Because if you drop the bar once, I just made up 2 of those 500-meter splits.
Mm-hmm.
Easily 10 seconds. Like if you get to where you are pushing the barbell and you're going to rest, boom, it comes down, boom, couple breaths, shake it out. Got to do my little dance before I go to pick up the bar again. Well, boom, there's 15, 20 seconds. It just went by. Like I just made up all of the time on you, all of it.
And you feel better.
I was telling the athlete that I have here for the 60-65, I was telling Ted, I'm like, okay, on the last, depending on how you're feeling, last 5 calories or last 10 calories, you are not rowing them. You are totally just chilling out and relaxing. Because why? I want you to be able to get off the rower, go right to the bar and grab it. Because if you don't, if you're breathing, like you're not gonna be able to do anything.
Yeah.
It's all about the lifting.
Well, especially if the weight is even lighter. It's like, oh,
I know.
I'm gonna have to freaking now. Well, it's lighter than everything, but then you're like, why is it's weird because then you're like, why is the barbell even in here?
So that's what I mean. Like, what were you trying to get out of this? Like, that's the hard part.
And then more so because of the volume of cows.
Right.
It's like, all right, what do we do? Are we going to have high volume cows and then heavy 9 reps at the end? Or we lower the cows, keep the weight, but that doesn't really change the workout. no matter what cows you really use. So do we lower the weight, or what do we do?
And it's that why.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are you programming it? Like, what are you looking for? What are you trying to get the athletes from this one to go through to advance to the games? Like, from this workout right here, what athlete is advancing to the games?
Big, strong one.
A strong guy. Like, literally, that's it on this particular one.
Yeah.
So
this is a bad example, but it's an example I'm going to use. I think John Young could beat me in this workout.
Yeah, because he'll handle the barbell.
Because I know he'll just get to the last bar and do 9 in a row.
Yep.
I can do 21. I can do 15. I'm a good rower under fatigue. And I'll just sit there and lose 2 minutes on the shoulder overhead to him at the end. Now, what does that say about me? That says I should improve my overhead strength, but it also shows that someone who is not fit right now, and John will say that too because he's training for grid, just beat me in a workout that he wasn't supposed to beat me in. Anyway.
Which would have been the same thing if it was 30 reps.
True. All right. Skills, cardio, obviously. Cardiorespiratory endurance is part of that. Stamina is part of that, both, right? Stamina for the barbell cycling, stamina for the pace you can hold on the row. You need strength, you need power, you need speed. Hinge pull leg fatigue on the row in a horizontal plane. Pressing overhead with the shoulder overhead as your 2 movements. What we've built on so far, we've used the barbell twice. Rower once, rig once. Weightlifting patterns, hinge pull press, all still in the same. Got some flexion now. Where am I at? Yes, sorry. Press and pull, so no changes. No changes in the gymnastics. We got our first monostructural and we split. We got a moderate and short time domain. And then we've got 2 weightlifting, 1 gymnastics, 1 monostructural. Takes us into workout number 3, the average time domain for your top performing athletes. And the reason why we look at the top is because we say this a lot when we program, right? Who are we programming for? Mm-hmm. And we should have started the show off with this before he's like, what are we programming for? What is the purpose of the online semifinals?
Get our games athletes.
Get the games field set. Now, the other question is, where does this qualifier or competition lie in the sequence of qualifying stages to get to the CrossFit Games? This would be different if this were the Open, getting people to semifinals. And now it's different because we've done the Open, which it's not how we analyze the programming per se, but we have to be like, all right, we did this to get here. This matters because it gives us context of who we filtered through and how. And now how are we taking that field and advancing to the CrossFit Games?
Perfect. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's exact. There should be, for us, oh man, and this will be a quick side note. I was watching the Sevon doing the weekend review that Dave did.
Oh, yes.
Dave was talking about the right athletes got there, because they won, and it's like that can never be the answer.
No,
it can't be the answer. And I was bummed that he said that. I understood what he was trying to say, but I was bummed that he was saying it, because we should know the type of athlete that is moving from stage to stage to stage. They should have these abilities. Like, we are filtering them for these abilities so that when they get to the games, now we can just throw whatever at them.
Right.
And it isn't. And I don't feel that it should be the Open should be so easy that just, if you're just super fast, you're going to make it in, and they don't test anything else. Because then when you make the Open to this jump here, like, that jump is massive.
Yeah.
And I don't think that we got the right
yeah, and so the really line that some people use, and yeah, Dave did use this, and I don't think he meant it in this way. I'm with you, but people will use this and they say, well, the fittest people still made it. So it doesn't matter what was programmed. And like, no.
Well, then it doesn't ever matter.
Yeah, right. Program. Then like, all right, then screw programming.
Right.
Who cares if it's a balanced test or not? The fittest people will still qualify. And that's not the line. The line is, and they used to use this with Rich a lot, and Matt and Tia, where they say it doesn't matter which program, they're still going to win. Correct.
Yep.
However, that doesn't mean programming doesn't matter. Programming is the most important part of this. It's the reason why this show exists, because programming is the end all be all when we're trying to find the fittest while using the claim of the fittest on earth. And you have to be able to program to not only define fitness within that programming, but to objectively sit back and like, this is all the things that they went through. This is the fittest person because of that. Versus that, it doesn't matter what was programmed. They're still the fittest person. It's like, no, that's not how you do it. Yes, the fittest people feel qualified, but that doesn't mean the programming doesn't matter.
The process to have, if you're going to have the title of the fittest on earth,
right,
then the title has to be vetted through the definition of fittest, not just they could run, or it doesn't matter what we put, they still were at the top. I mean, I get it, cool, but did they go through the approach? And this is like Hiller will say this all the time about like the last games. Like, okay, yeah, James has the title, but he's not the fittest because he didn't get tested through all of the definition of the fittest. He didn't get all the things. And so we need to make sure that they have all the things. I think that that's important. Yes, the winner will win and all that kind of stuff, but like we're testing for a specific race.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's that mass of all of the things, our 10 physical traits. Did we get all those?
All of it. That's why it's in here.
Right.
That's why, like, this is why we threw in the 10 general, like, this isn't the only grade, right? But the variance of skills that are being tested should be in there. And this is more just for your own education, for those of you guys that are watching. We totally skipped the word. And the reason why. All right. So workout number 3 rounds for time, 30-foot handstand walk, 15 feet out and back, 30 pull-ups, 30 lateral burpees over a dumbbell that you don't use while the whole workout goes, 30 toes to bar. That was kind of a snide comment. Sorry. No, I'm not. 3 rounds of that. High volume, 270 plus reps. The 270 is not even counting the 30-foot handstand walk. Count those however you want. 1, 2 each time, 3 down, 3, whatever. Strict body weight, quadruplets. That's not really one I throw out there a lot, but it's 4 different movements. It's a push, pull, back and forth a little bit. Obviously, there's the flexion with the toes to bar, but there's still a pulling element of that. All gymnastics all the way through, which is... We have a weightlifting only one, and I think the idea was that the row volume from the previous one is that more of, oh, look, we've touched on major elements here, but like volume of one, but impact is a totally different thing.
Right.
It's rare to see like such a volume of row cals, but the impact just being 9 shoulder overhead, being the big decider. High volume. I like seeing a high volume test. I will say
totally.
That. And not being just row cals. I like the rep volume. The biggest thing, and we've talked about this when they first, is like, don't even put the handstand walks in there if this is all you're going to do. It doesn't change the outcome.
No, all it did was it filtered out the bottom.
Yeah,
you're not trying to filter out the bottom here. You're trying to filter out the top.
Right. And even if you sucked at handstand walks and you're good at everything else, you'll be greatly unaffected by this.
Right.
It just told us who couldn't do them. Not if you were bad at them. Space Wolves.
This to me is an open workout.
I would love this to be an open workout.
Totally. But like in the open, we had pull-ups.
Right.
We had lateral burpees over the dumbbell.
Correct.
And now we're going to do a fucking another 90 of them. Shit, did we not do enough of them? I think in the open, I think I did like 120 something.
Right.
Like, really? I got to do them again. Like, that did not filter anything on here at all. If it would have made more sense to make the handstand walk count. This is like one of the ones that I played with. So I had the handstand walk in between every movement. That's what I did for 3 rounds. So I did handstand walk, 30 pull-ups, handstand walk, 30 burpees over the stupid dumbbell, 30 handstand walk, 30 toes to bar, 3 rounds.
Yeah.
So now that handstand walk counted. It mattered.
Right. Yeah.
It mattered a lot. And it came down more to that. Like, now it wasn't pull-ups and burpees over the, I mean, those still sucked.
Yes.
But it really, the emphasis was, okay, we already know you can do that, but can you do those things and now try to have the gymnastics, the handstand walk in there, which, I mean, it just made the handstand walk count. And when I was thinking that, I was trying to pull the light away from the movements that we literally just did.
Yes.
To qualify to get here.
Yes.
And so I just think that, like, I liked my version, but I still had a hard time with what it was trying to do. This is again one of those, like, okay, what did we filter through on here?
Right.
We didn't change anybody.
Yes.
We changed out the bottom. We changed out the bottom.
You filtered out a lot of people with the other 270 repetitions with this.
Right.
But the point that we're making is that take the leaderboard as it stands now, take out the handstand walks, and nothing will change.
Nope.
Nothing will change. So then the question is, why even have it in there? So.
Right. And if you take that out, then why is this event in there? Because we already did it.
True, we did.
In the open.
Which is, and part of this is like, hey, we did that in the open. We rode a lot in the open, 50-50 to start the 25-3. Oh, we rode a lot more in semifinals. Okay, we did a lot of burpees, lateral burpees over the dumbbell in the open. And now we're doing a lot more, not a lot more, but still a lot of burpees over the dumbbell in semifinals. Okay, so we did them there, and we did them again here. Some more of, some less of, but some of the same thing. So just remember that.
And what did we pull through? That's the part that I keep having a hard time with. Like, when you're designing it, what did you pull through different on there?
Yeah.
What did you find different on there by putting that in? How did you filter athletes by putting the exact same movement in there?
Right. And some could argue, I mean, I saw JR talking about, it was like, we tested bar muscle-ups were tested in the open because it was at the tail end of a very intense chipper. And then we did them again in more of a stamina fatigue element, but really kind of the same issues were there. So why wasn't it rings or something like that, right? Why didn't it should evolve?
Without a doubt. Like, that's the whole thing, especially if the open is supposed to be, and I hate saying it because it can't be anymore, but that this all-inclusive crap that gets drizzled all over that, then I'm sorry. Like, it should be like everything ramped up, everything.
I think if I've been reading that you may have qualified, it's like, but you might be able to do any ring muscle-ups. Good, you don't belong at the games if you can't do that.
But you don't know until you get to the games now.
Right. And you should be testing that. Things tested here: cardiorespiratory endurance, clearly stamina on all the not the redundancy, but the high volume repetitive movements versus a partitioned coordination and balance. That's needed more on obviously the handstand walk portion. It is part of it, whether it was impactful or not. With the way it was programmed, it doesn't change the fact that this is being tested. Yeah. Press the handstand walk. Pull with the pull up, press and jump with the burpee, core flexion and pull on the toes to bar. Back to the rig. So added in another rig element. No weightlifting patterns changed. Some more pull, jump, press modalities. Obviously with 4, gymnastics took a big jump. On this time domains, where we at? 2 moderate, 1 short, and no addition to the monostructural. Number 4, the fast one. 150-foot overhead walking lunge, 50 pounds and 35 pounds was the weight that they had. 50 alternating dumbbell snatches, 50 box jump overs, 24 and 20 being the main bulk. Programming age division, short workout, 4 to 5 minutes. I would still say it, even though you had to go as fast as you can, I still wouldn't label this a sprint, even though it's a sub 5 minute, and yeah, there's a couple sub 4s. Sprint is like a sprint, like a
An all out.
All out sprint. Moderate rep range for the work that they're doing. The weight was light. It's a chipper, gymnastics and weightlifting between the lunges, dumbbell snatches, and the box jump overs. We touched on this one a bit as well. I like that there was something short, something intense, something to go for, a chipper in there. It just it's like another open workout.
It's an open workout. This is the open workout that we should have had. This we got the long version of this one. Like 25.1 in the open was what this one should have been. You could have done it in rounds or whatever if you want to get the long one. But like weighted overhead lunge, like that to me was not like a semifinal jump right there. Yes. We went from to me in the open a foundation level to an open level, not open level to semifinal level. I mean the event itself is fine, it's great, but again this was an open workout.
Yes,
it was a good event, like cool, like awesome, whatever, but open workout.
Here's the challenge of programming an open level workout in a semifinal setting to qualify people to the CrossFit Games is that if I go back to the workout, all things being equal, say you have 100 people that are all physically capable of qualifying for the CrossFit Games, and you program this workout in this setting, where's the separation going to be?
Execution.
But what's the fear? I can't snatch faster than 6'2".
Oh, yeah. Got you. You're going to ride the line.
I can't lunge faster than 15 feet.
Yeah.
And so then it just, when you can't separate the field with the programming that you had based off the weight you use, the skills that you're testing in the mem, or the intensity, because you can only lunge so fast. You can only dumbbell snatch so fast. You can only box jump over with a step down so fast. So what do people feel like they're going to be forced to do to get the edge on somebody else? And it always comes down to riding the line, skirting the range of motion, because there is no separation here from a physical standpoint. This isn't that hard to do.
This is the wide-legged dumbbell snatch.
Right. I mean, look at this. Okay, 342. And then the second place, this is for the 35 to 39 guys. The second place is 19 seconds behind them. All right? So from first to second, it's 19 seconds. From second all the way to 13th is another 19 seconds.
Crazy.
422, it takes... Where is it? We just dropped another 40 places and only advanced 16 seconds.
Yep.
Like, look at this. 1 second, tie. It just, that alone tells you it was too easy. And there wasn't enough in there to separate the field unless they're just whatever this person is, Nicholas 6th, 21st, 5th. All right, let's see. How's your video look? Needs review. 40
of them.
Okay. So
oh my gosh.
I didn't know that was going to happen, Nick. Sorry. Let's see. Leandro needs review. 17. And that's probably all because, and I don't want to watch it on here now, waste my time, but it's probably all because they feel like they had to move so fast. Needs review, 15. Now, this could be a bunch of morons just putting that in there, but like, let's go down a number. Let's see. All right. Maybe people didn't, maybe it's that good. Right there is a little questionable, just at the top. I don't know what's happening there. Let's go to number 5. Eric, how'd you do? 11 needs to review, 14 good. All right, so there's a battle of opinions on range of motion. All right. But like that's what we're saying, especially in online competition. And it didn't do that. All right. Hinge pull. We got it. Jump, leg fatigue. Last one.
You know what they get real fast on that one? They said that you had to you must step down.
Yes.
But you can jump all the way over.
Well, Hiller posted that video, the guy that was like hopping on with one foot and the other foot landing off the box.
What was he grazing? Because if you it doesn't say, but it shows. And I know that they've said stuff like that before. We clearly showed you that both feet were on the box. So you should take from that both feet have to be on the box. So I think the guy was he trying to graze his foot as he was stepping down? Or he just wasn't,
I don't know.
I mean, I saw it was kind of hard to see it, but I thought it was interesting that it was like both feet on the top or showing that, whatever.
Yeah.
Or you must, like they made bold, it must step down.
There was something in the rules
but you can jump all the way across. Like how's did we make it unsafe again by
No, I think the thought is
the rebound.
And I feel like this is a correct thought, but someone technically could do it, is that it takes the rebound out of it.
Right.
Is anybody going to like clear the box and rebound back? Like if you're, can someone do it? Sure. Yes. But I think that would, right. It's not the landing that is the problem. It's the rebounding. That's the danger for box jump over. So yes, I see why that was in there, but I guess that opened up a little bit of a loophole.
Yeah. That's why you always need to know, like, you can't just assume that people are going to get whatever it is that you're thinking. You need to like be very specific about, like, words matter. You got to be very specific about what you're wanting people to do. If you want both feet on the box, both feet must hit the box.
Yeah.
Like if you don't care, if they don't even let them jump all the way over the box. Both feet must land on the box. Period. Step off the box. Period.
Well, Little says that was apparently allowed. He emailed and was told 1, 2, or 0 feet can touch the box.
Jeez, dude.
I would like to see.
If that's the case, why did they include the picture with both feet on the box? That's crap.
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't read enough to pass judgment.
That was a mistake.
I'm sure there'll be a video coming out soon. John George, what do you say? Why not do a high box get over or burpees? Well, we'll talk about that. Yes, that's a great suggestion. Okay. Last one. Heavy Isabel. How this all happened with North America qualifying events of the 4, and this came out. Although if they want to match it up, I would have said just do the 225, 155. It was like 215 and 145. Yeah. 30 snatches, short time frame, low volume of reps, heavy weight, single modality, straight weightlifting. I would say the second weightlifting dependent or lynch pin breaker of the 5. Right, event 2 with the rowing and shoulder overhead. Yes, there's lots of rowing and you had to be in shape, but you also had to be super strong. But if you were very strong, you were the ones that were doing well over the ones that were not. Same thing happens here. Hey, actually, you know what? I'd be curious. I'd be curious, Bill. Let's go back to this again.
Compare the two.
Nick, we're not talking about you. All right, workout 2. Stefan Cassette, Norman, Scott Panchek, 1, 2, 3. 3, 2. Right. Con Porter, 4th, 25th, 4th. Okay. 5th. Okay, not a 1-to-1. Right. 8th, 7th. Right, but this.
Well, it's also because of the volume too. Like, I mean, one is granted you're fatigued, but it's only 9 reps.
Yeah.
You can battle through 9 reps for 30. You're not just gonna battle through 30.
Yeah.
Like that's
well, it'd be different if like
what sort of muscular fatigue are you gonna have,
If this was second and 150th or second and 200.
Right,
still
right.
Top 50.
Right.
Top 40. Right. 7th, 14th, 8th, 44, 8th, 11th, 8th, 7th, 11th, 22. All right. Not as dramatic as I thought it was going to be. What about the women? Let's see. 1st, 27th, 7th. Oh, more than the women. 3rd, 2nd, 4th, 6th, 5th, 16th, 6th, 12th, 7th, 1st. Yeah, that's that's pretty close. Mm-hmm. Now 9th, 77th. Okay. 11th, 85th. All right, that just probably means you're a bad snatcher. Which I guess, yeah, that's the test, which I think all masters athletes should be tested in some form of squat, snatch, or overhead squat prior to them even qualifying for the CrossFit Games. Require a squat? Yeah. I mean, the answer is always yes, John. But
I without a doubt. Without a doubt.
But we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Okay, stamina, strength, speed, and power. It's all being tested. Glad there's no max in semifinals, and this is how we tested strength in a high volume.
Yeah.
Me too. Especially in 5. All right, 5 events. All right, final. Goofy graphs. 1 monostructural movement tested. A lot of rig work, which is fine. Right? We're doing that. Gymnastics, I'm going to do 6-5-1. Yeah, there you go. 1 pure single modality. The quadruplet technically was all gymnastics, so I guess you could throw it up there if you'd like, which, fine.
Sure.
All right. 2 couplets, 1 chipper. 6 gymnastics, 5 weightlifting, 1 monostructural. There's only so much monostructural you can do in online competition, but you still have double unders. I know Bill doesn't want shuttle runs, but nobody wants to count those. Weights, we had a nice balance between light, moderate, and heavy weights. So it's good to see. Volume, low, moderate, high. Great. Okay. In 5. Time domains, 3 short, 2 moderate. So now the shorts were short, so they were still very intense. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the moderate. Would have liked 1 20-pluser to balance some of that out. So 2 short, 2 moderate, 1 plus. I mean, that's a great week of training. But the fastest the longest that the top athletes went was 14 minutes.
Yep.
At the most. So I think something 20 plus needs to be in there. Just as strength should be tested in a certain way, gymnastics should be tested in a certain way, endurance should be tested in a certain way, and that wasn't in there. Bar muscle up, handstand walk-ish, pull up, burpee, toes to bar, your gymnastics movements. 1, monostructure should be said, power clean, shoulder overhead, overhead lunge, dumbbell snatch, and barbell snatch. Gymnastics movement patterns fluctuated between jumping, core flexion, pulling, and pressing. No squats or lunges with the gymnastics movement. Weightlifting, hinge, pull, press, pretty standard with a lot of the compound movements we do. It's compound for a reason. It has a lot of different moving parts. That's why they're so effective. The carry being the overhead dumbbell lunge, you're still carrying it, whether it's not a... And then we had a lunge, no squatting. It's the name, the big glaring thing that everybody talked about. Now, as we get to the end of this, right, we want to look back and not just be like, oh, I didn't like that or this, that, and the other, and just like, I would have done this and just totally change what it's going to be. We've been talking for 1 hour. Thank you to all 110 of you guys watching. Appreciate you guys sticking around, listening to the nerdy stuff. But when we look back and say, okay, tweak this, tweak that, and change this, I think to show an effective way to analyze programming, and we say this a lot, right? I liked this one. I liked this one. I liked this one. But you still got to put them all together.
I really like this puzzle piece.
Yeah. Right?
I really like that puzzle piece. But they don't make a puzzle at all.
This one's like, I like this Lego. I like this Lincoln log. I like this puzzle piece. And
I can't make anything with it.
Right. You can't. It's not even like normal puzzle piece cutouts where you can just like push them all together, even though they don't make a good picture. Now we're looking at things that are not even the same puzzly piece. So looking back, and the big thing is no squats.
That's massive.
And I know some people talk about lunging. Right? Lunging is squat adjacent. It's not squatting. You don't even break parallel. If the weight is heavier, the volume's higher, we can talk about what we want to talk about in that specific instance is that what we are doing is we're testing athletes to move on to the CrossFit Games. So whatever you program must, in fact, test the athletes. And so I say, did the athletes get tested in strength? I'd say twice.
Sure.
Overhead and snatching. Snatching without a doubt, right? Strength and stamina. Did the athletes get tested in high volume gymnastics?
Sure.
Yes. Did the athletes get tested with intensity?
Sure.
And did the athletes get tested with, like strength, stamina, speed? Did the athletes get tested in squatting?
Nope.
No. Period. End of story. No.
And I do not want to, dude, I do not want to hear, like, I'm so tired of people trying to okay it with the leg drive thing.
Right.
Well, it's, it's a lunge. It's basically a squat and, a power lower limb. You're using the legs. I mean, we heard that even with like the Mayhem Classic thing about, that what was a squat and what wasn't a squat. The fact of the matter is a squat is a squat and it's below parallel. A squat is below parallel.
Right.
That's how we define it.
Yeah. That argument itself is out the window because what we're saying is, did my legs get tired on rowing? Yes.
Right.
Do my legs get tired when I do box jump overs? Yes. Do my legs get tired when I do lunges? Yes. Were any of those things the crux of the actual movement? Did I get tested because of those things that made my legs tired? No.
Nope.
So, yes, you have lower body elements. They're like, oh, well, most people had to receive the squat in a full, or receive the snatch in a full squat. Or maybe some people had to receive the clean in a full squat in the first event. It's like, that doesn't matter. It's not what was programmed, one. So you can't just like make up your own test. It wasn't a requirement, therefore it wasn't programmed.
Right.
And the other is the squat is the last issue anybody has with snatches, other than your inability to do it. If I receive the bar in the bottom of a snatch, I've made it. I'm not going to miss it because my legs aren't strong enough to stand up with the bar. It's either technique or it's stability overhead. So squats are not being tested, right? And Meredith, this is really like what we're talking about is that people are, she says, I think people are confusing muscle group recruitment with functional movements. What they're confusing is what's getting tired and what's getting tested. Yes, my legs, like in the snatch chipper one, my legs are going to be really tired because I lunged as fast as I could. I did dumbbell snatches, which requires the legs to do work. And I just pumped my legs full of blood because I landed on the box in a full squat each time. My legs are fatigued, but my legs were not the reason why I was successful or not successful in that workout. My legs and specifically my squat ability was not tested. That's where people need to see the difference in what we're talking about. Because it's easy to yell, oh, there's no squatting, so it sucks. But like, let's go in a little bit of a deeper reason of why. And we're not saying it sucks. We're actually going to tell you how close this was to being great.
Yeah, so close. So close.
So I just want people to understand that.
And that's on the programming side. And I will go back to, again, the age group divisions that we are putting people through, qualifying people through to get to the games. The world's best is what we are testing for. We're trying to get the world's best so that we can qualify them through so we can now test them with whatever. And if you take out squatting on aged athletes,
Right.
then you just completely skewed the athletes that you have going to the games. 100%, especially the older you get. Especially the older you get. That's why I always make such a big deal about an overhead squat.
Right.
Or the squat snatch. I mean, if you're going to do squat snatches, whatever, because we now know that person has the functional flexibility to be athletic.
Yes.
And that did not get tested. So we have people that can do things, granted, not saying that they aren't good at the things that they're doing. That's cool. Mm-hmm. But the questions that they're going to now be faced with once they get to the games, if these are the people that make it, like there are realms that have not even been, the stone hasn't even been turned over yet.
Yeah.
At all. Not even close. Mm-hmm. Not even a little bit. For example, if you were going to throw squats into the squat snatch, the weight that they had to do as they went down, okay, that's fine. It wasn't super, the weights came down and it wasn't super heavy for a lot of different groups, and that's fine.
Right.
But I know athletes in my division, they can snatch 225 pounds. They are nowhere to squat it, but they can snatch it.
Right.
But if they have to squat snatch that weight goes down drastically. And I'm not talking like 10 pounds. I'm talking like 80 pounds.
Right.
That's the difference. That's the difference that we're testing. We now didn't get to see these stud athletes really decide if we are now getting the right athlete, because they're going to get to the games and they're going to be doing overhead squats, and you're going to have guys that go like, whatever, they did their heavy as a bell in 4 minutes, 2 minutes and 50 seconds, and then they're going to have to do overhead squats and they can't.
Right.
And that's the issue.
Yeah.
That's another issue on top of that.
Rob Kittle, if the games has a lot of squatting and the leaderboard looks really similar, does this disprove this all? No, because we go back to the statement of the fittest people will still find their way to the top, but that does not excuse.
Doesn't mean the programmer was right.
Programming a bad or imbalanced test. But that's a great question. And that's the thing that we keep trying. All right, so before we sign off here and give our grading, we're going to loop in a little reprogramming here, which, could upset you or not upset you. Maybe upset other people. All right, workout 1. Again, this is my favorite one of all 5.
I love it, dude. I love it.
Favorite one. I love the time domain. I love the ascending reps. Yep. I love the movements that they're using. And if we were going to take all of, I would say, our feedback and then give actual constructive feedback, what is the only thing that, if we only changed one thing, Bill, like, hey, Bill, you can change one thing, not in this event. Here's 5 events. You get to change one thing to make this a better test.
Squat cleans. Dun, da, da.
Yeah, you could nitpick everywhere else, and we've been nitpicking the whole time. That's the whole point of the show. But if all you did was make this squat cleans, this show is a 30-minute show.
Yeah, it literally changes that much. Now, granted, you could still, I mean, like, again, you could still repaint this whole thing. Right. But you're right. Like, if you change one movement on one event, that fixes all 5.
Yes.
Put together.
One thing. That's it. That's all you had to do. And when we reprogram or give our personal opinions and takes, we try to be as like hands off as possible. We're just like squat cleans and ring muscle ups. Nope. Don't even need that. Squat clean, and then everything else is and we could say everything we've been saying is still subjective. Mm-hmm. But everything else, you're like, all right, cool. It's like, yeah, I don't need to do squat snatches at the end. I'm going to probably have to do them anyways, but you don't need to force people because you made it up over here. 55 plus squat cleans. Everybody's doing them in singles anyways.
Right.
All right. Now we go to workout 2. 75-60, 21-15-9. Do you just keep this as is? It's just a lot of rowing. Do you want to make it more intense?
We need a long one, right?
We need a long one.
And the way you can make this longer without really changing anything is you make all the weights 21 reps.
Ooh. So 75-21, 75-21, 75-21.
Yep. 20-minute time cap.
The weight, 135, 185, 225.
Because here's what you're doing on that. Now, yes, you have the row.
Change anything, though?
Well,
the one
I
thing
think
we said was like 225 for 9 is the biggest full separator. Now you make it to 21. Is there even less incentive to do anything harder other than just being long for long's sake? Does it even make it that much longer? 12 to 14 is that top range?
Well, if you're trying to, I think it will make it longer. Even the athletes that did 9 unbroken, like they were struggling to get to the 9 unbroken.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like they're going to drop the bar. And if they had to do, they probably were like right at the 15 for the 185, 125.
Right.
So they're going to be breaking again on that. Yes, it does turn it into, okay, what did you get to the end? But I honestly think that what will end up happening is because of the lighter weights, the lighter weights is going to take a lot more time. So you're going to have athletes that really aren't even able to get to that longer one. And I'm just thinking like, okay, how can you shove it into the 20-minute time cap?
Yeah.
Does the row count at that point? No, it doesn't. It's just a fatigued. Try to take your legs out for your shoulder to overhead so you don't have as much drive with the legs anymore, especially when you start getting tired muscularly trying to go overhead.
Yeah.
And again, I'm trying to do as little as possible to change to make it. And what is this missing? Like again, I'm trying to figure out what it is that they're wanting to test. It's their long one, supposed to be.
It's so weird. The more I
mean, I hate the event. I hated this one. I hated it from the beginning. When it first came out, I'm like, this one's stupid. It really is dumb.
Because yes, it'll make it longer. I just don't think it changes anything, and I think it makes it even more strength bias.
100%. 100%. It totally does. I'm trying to think like what else. I mean, I hate the event, but what little could I do? It's like, okay. I mean, shit, make it 30, 30, 30, 30, and you can bring the weights down a little bit then. 135, 155, 185.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think bringing the weights down, yes. That's
but then you got to bring the reps up.
Right.
I don't know if 21's enough. Maybe.
I still think the cals is too much. But.
Well, you're right, but that's what you. Again, if you're looking for the 20-minute deal.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of how would you balance that out?
Yeah.
And it's not balancing it out on. I mean, but the hard thing is that they put all the gymnastic-y stuff
all in one.
In one. So like if you were really looking at a long row and you wanted to balance this out, it's like, okay, well then couple that with a gymnastic movement where now your smaller athlete has a better opportunity.
And I don't mind the push-pull between the two. I actually like it.
No, I mean, I do too. I like I said, minimal stuff is what I was trying to mess with.
Okay.
My first choice, clip the whole thing out.
Okay, yeah, you're all right. Well, I'll throw one in there. Don't change the cal row. Bump all the barbell reps to 25 and just make it 3 rounds for time of 75 cal row, 25 shoulder overhead at 185.
I like that too. Yeah.
So it's a big thing on row. It's a lot of shoulder overhead. There was a age group online qualifier workout back in the day that had ring muscle ups coupled with shoulder overhead, and it was like 7 rounds of 7 and 7 of ring muscle ups and shoulder overhead at 135, and then like 7 rounds of 4 and 4 with 185 and ring muscle ups. then it's not strength bias. It's just capacity, stamina, longer. The row has an emphasis or an importance there. And you're not being outweighted with a high volume. I'm 75 reps, 25 at a clip.
Maybe this is because I still am angry at the open, but it's like, okay, F you guys. Yeah. Here's some weight. So that's why I said the 21 on 135. It's like, and I mean, yeah, you're right. It doesn't change the 9 reps versus the 21 reps.
Right. I just wanted to be like consistent with our criticism.
Right.
Because if it's 75 and 25 for 3 rounds, it's like,
I mean, the 185 is good. Like, you need to have strength. If you're going to be doing 75 reps of that, like you need to be strong.
Right. And I don't think anybody's repping out 25 unbroken, expecting the rest of your workout to go very well.
No.
Versus the first 2 sets of this, even through the third, like, is kind of irrelevant. It's like you row, you do 21, you sneeze at the bar, and you are already back to the rower. And you get back to 15. Yeah, it's tough to get through 15, but rarely anybody that we're sending to the games is getting stopped in their tracks there. All right.
Why not pick because it makes it 75. I see your 75s in there.
I just picked 25. It's
well, no. I get it. At the 3 rounds and the 25. I was thinking like, well, why not go 50 and 25?
We'll go 42, 30, 18. What does that come out to? 60, 75. No, that's not right. 90. Ooh. Or make it 135 and do 90.
Yeah.
Like if you get off 75 cal row, who's doing 42? Unbroken at 135. Because
any of those would be fine. This would, to me, like the second I went from the event 1, I'm like, yeah, event 2, done.
I saw some good suggestions in here. Is like put these all on time blocks. It's like, all right, here's a 7-minute time block of the cal row, then max shouldered overhead in that time remaining at these weights.
Oh, check this out. Okay, so you have your 75-25.
Okay.
At 185. You can even come down a little bit. Make it 165.
Okay.
155. Oh, either of those.
Make it DC.
There is no time cap.
Okay.
This is a 2-scored event. Your row time, your lifting time.
Oh.
So now you have to push both.
So it's 4 time.
4 time.
Oh, it's 2 scored.
Right.
Yeah, like 2 scored.
You must finish. You must do 75 of your shouldered overhead. Everyone will do 75 of the shouldered overhead. So maybe,
put a time cap because like you're just going to get capped on your lift. Like I couldn't do any shoulder overhead at 225. I was like, all right, well then when were you done?
Well, no. I'm saying the one where you keep it the one weight for all 3 rounds.
Yeah.
So like the 75-25, like what you were talking about. Same, but same weight the whole time, like your 185, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Moral of the story.
There's a lot to do
anything other than this.
A lot you could have done.
Anything other than this is the moral. All right, this one. This is the easiest one to do. So Bill said is like make it a 30-foot handstand walk before each of the 3 gymnastics movement.
Yep.
So 30-foot, 30, 30-foot, 30, 30-foot, 30.
Yep.
But what we talked about earlier is like take the burpees out completely and put another light squat in there. No, the 30.
Yeah. You're right.
Test that again.
Yeah. Wall balls.
Thoroughly tested in the open.
Got it.
Wall ball shots.
Yep.
So you have your heavy one-off single squat cleans up to 55 reps there. You put 30 wall ball shots here, which keeps a pressing element in there as much as a burpee is going to do. And you get light weight, higher volume squats that meshes beautifully with a pull off the rig because it's very Fran-like. So it's 30-foot handstand walk, 30 pull-ups. 30-foot handstand walk, 30 wall ball shots, 30-foot handstand walk, 30 toes to bar. Done. That's a semifinal workout.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Or dumbbell squats with the dumbbells that you already have in here and that you're not using. But I like having a different version of a thruster. Since we did thrusters in the open, let's evolve it to 90 reps of wall ball shots. Mm-hmm. So, easy. What did we say for this one? Very simple fix. Just make the dumbbell weight 70 and 50. Call it a day.
For a semi-event, yeah. Because this is an open workout. So for a semi-event, yes.
Yeah. Done. 150 over a feet of overhead walking lunge with a 70 and 50, 50 dumbbell snatches, and then have fun on the box jump overs.
Yeah.
Just change the weight. Then it's less about range of motion and speed. Very few people ripping off 50 unbroken alternating dumbbell snatches with a 70-pound dumbbell. And if they do, I would love to see their box jump overs after that.
And man, I'll tell you what, the lunges are going to be done right, because if you don't come up all the way,
like, right. Yeah.
This is one of the things where all of a sudden you raise the weight just a little, and now the range of motion, it's not a range of motion thing, because you have to go to lockout because of the weight.
There's a stabilizing, like there's an element to that you can't just blow through and just try to outpace, out range of motion people.
Yep.
Way more separation, especially separation of fitness, not body types. I'm not touching this one. Have you, Isabel?
If we didn't squat, well, I will. I'll say that we should be squatting. And the reason I'm saying that is not for the element of we must have some squats in here.
Right.
But because we need to vet the athletes that are getting to the game so that we know that they're going to be able to do overhead squats. We know that they're going to be able to do some sort of a squat snatch, that we know that they have the flexibility to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. It is mandatory before you get to the games. Mandatory. Because if there are athletes that can snatch 225 and cannot snatch 135, they have no business being at the games.
Yeah. None. I think some type of overhead squat, like you said, or squat snatch has to be in a semifinal qualifying stage to get to the CrossFit Games. That's it.
Yep.
Snatch is better because it requires so much more technical elements in there versus, say, fighting through an overhead squat. Overhead squat would be the next best option. It's so versatile in testing someone's fitness. Strength, stability, all that. It's great. And the snatch itself hits almost every, let me see this, just so people can see it with me. All right. If these were squat snatches, snatch tests, say just like one max effort snatch. Strength, yes. Flexibility, yes. Speed, yes. Power, yes. Coordination, yes. Agility, yes. Balance, yes. Accuracy, yes. The only thing it doesn't test for one rep of a heavy movement is these two things up here. Yep. Stamina and cardiorespiratory endurance. That's how potent a snatch is. A clean does not test agility, balance, and accuracy.
No. Jeez, no.
Barely coordination. Because you can grip and rip a clean. A clean is just pure strength, speed, and power. 3. A snatch has 8. It's the most potent movement we have in our arsenal. And now you do it for reps at moderately heavy weight. Stamina gets in there. Now make it a 9. And yeah, cardiorespiratory endurance. All right, we're not hitting that. Just say on a 5K, I wouldn't say we're testing strength either. 9 out of 10 in one event. It's awesome.
It's awesome.
All right. Before we get to our rankings, we got 3 minutes. This notion of not programming squats because the standards would be too hard to judge.
Sorry, I threw up in my mouth right there.
If you make that argument, don't do CrossFit anymore. Just we gotta. I mean, think of the one thing that got us where, let's just say CrossFit in general, is like trying to be like everybody else, or trying to appease everybody's feelings, or not holding ourselves to the standards of which we set for ourselves decades ago. That was what separated us from everybody. The things that we did, the intensity of which we did them, and the standards at which we held ourselves to for all of those things. And for anybody to come out there and just like, well, don't program those. Don't program squats. Like, we've said pistols for a variety of reasons in online competition. But the notion of programming or not programming squats because it's harder to judge is wild.
That is the most idiotic thing I've ever heard anything come out of any person that's in CrossFit's mouth. Like, literally, it is the biggest cop-out and means absolutely nothing. If you, yes, there are ways to program so that you don't just make problems for yourself. I understand that.
Right.
That is not taking out an entire movement to do that.
Yes.
And to take out the most functional and highest priority movement that we have as athletes, core to extremity, power, what's going to elicit the most amount of power is when we are using our hip flexion. And the thing that we've been talking about from the very beginning is when you are going to be, when there were no affiliates around, you're in the gym and everyone in there squatting is going to ask you and tell you, it's really dangerous to go past your knee, past that hip crease like that. That's bad for your knees. That was our first argument in the gym. Our very first one. And now we don't want to do that because, well, it'll be hard to judge. Okay, then make them heavier. Because when you make them heavier, that's like with the dumbbell that we were talking about, it will slow it down to where you don't have a choice but to squat.
Right.
And now you're tested it. And it is the dumbest, most idiotic, most ill understood argument that I think that anyone in this space can have right now.
It's crazy. It's crazy to hear that out of people's mouths that are,
those are people that have been around a while,
vocal and known in the space.
I just can't believe it.
I mean, it came in the chat a few times in our last show, and we're like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Like, this is what got us in kind of where we're at now in the CrossFit world. We try to be everybody's best friend. We try to lower the bar to what CrossFit meant to people, and now we just lowered ourselves to all these copycats.
Totally.
It's like when there's no difference between you, F45, Orange Theory, Barry's Boot Camp, High Rocks. Like when there's no difference because of the difference we separated ourselves with because it's hard to do.
Right.
It requires work. And we weed out those that choose not to be a part of that because of the standards of which we hold. That's what separated us. And now if you're just like everybody else, like, of course they're going to go do that. Why? Because it's easier. And they don't feel bad about leaving a CrossFit gym because it's easy there too. You just want better music and painted walls. Anyway. All right. Thumb review. What do you got?
Half.
Half.
And the reason I say half is because there are events that I like, but I wish this was the open workout.
Yeah. The max score I would give this is a 1. So the 2 is off the table. Max score. Now I'm going my event to event, right? I've got 5 events. You got 0.2 in each one. Event 1, I did enjoy. Event 2, it was a...
That's a down. Come on. You were going to cut it out. Cutting it out.
Right, event 1.
You're down to 0.
Event
You're
1.
back to 0.
There you go. I got 1. Event 2, no. Event 3, I did like, they just could have done something more. I didn't mind the gymnastics stuff.
Okay, half.
Half. Event, I'm about to put up my middle finger. You got 3. You got 1, 3, and 5 I like. So you're getting a 0.6 from me. 2 and 4. Come on. Come on. All right. What are your thoughts, people? You got this chat was on fire today.
You guys were talking a lot. It was good.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back Friday, I think. You Friday?
I can do a Friday at this time, yeah.
Friday at this time? All right.
Yeah.
What that will be, we shall see. Probably mayhem.
Okay.
We go from no squats to apparently too many squats, depending on who you're listening to.
Hey, that was clickbait, man. It was so dumb.
Yes. We're, I'm not above the clickbait either. But thank you guys for joining us. See you guys on Friday.